Hi and welcome. This week I'm going to be fitting a sump spacer to our Moto Guzzi 750 Breva. Now small block Moto Guzzis, such as the Breva, have a fairly small oil capacity. In the case of the Breva, it's only just under 1.8 litres. The downside of this is that the oil works very hard, and this isn't good for the oil or for the engine. The other downside is that if your engine uses a little bit of oil, it can become dangerously low. The solution to this is a sump spacer, such as this. Now this goes between the pan on the bottom of the sump and the sump itself. It increases the oil capacity. In our case, it'll go from probably 1.8 litres to just under 3 litres. You can buy these online. They vary in price from between $250 to $300 US plus postage, and you will find they'll be either CNC machined, or in the case of this one, they'll be a cast alloy product. Now, this is a locally produced one, and this is actually a prototype that I'm trying out. When it becomes available, I'll include contact details for the manufacturer in the description below. For Australian buyers, the price point should be certainly much better than what we can purchase overseas. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the installation process. Before we start, I thought I'd just run through what you need. Obviously, you'll have your sump spacer kit, which will also come with a spacer for the oil filter, and there'll be a set of replacement bolts because you'll need longer bolts. So that's what comes with the kit, but you'll also have to purchase an oil filter, 2 gaskets. You could probably reuse the gasket that's on the original sump pan, but it's not worth taking the risk, and they're not expensive. You'll also need an O-ring for the oil filter cover. That doesn't need to be changed every service, but if it hasn't been changed for a while, it can leak. And there's also 2 crush washers, one for each drain plug. Now these small block engines have 2 drain plugs, one at the front and one at the back, and it's certainly well worth changing these crush washers every service or so. So that's about all you need. Oh, plus some oil, of course, of your choice, and let's get on with it. First, you will need to remove the plastic belly pan. Then remove the 2 sump plugs to drain the oil. Now unscrew the filter cover and allow the filter cavity to drain before removing the filter. Now undo all the bolts holding the sump pan on. Clean the gasket area on the bottom of the engine. Now clean the gasket area on the sump pan. Assemble the spacer to the sump pan, remembering to include both gaskets. Now fit to the bike. You may need some assistance when doing this. Tighten all the bolts evenly, going round several times until they are all firm. Replace both sump plugs with new crush washers and tighten. Now insert the filter and don't forget the crush washer that's on the main bolt. Now refill with oil. The bike should take around 2.8 litres, but it will vary from sump spacer to sump spacer. It's probably best to put a little less in first. Now start the engine and make sure that the oil light goes off. Now recheck the oil level and top up if required. Well, that's it. Job done. All that remains now is to take the bike for a bit of a test ride, bring it back, let it cool down, and check and tighten all those bolts on the sump pan. And you should be done. I'll see you next time.